Hi guys, it's Rowe here, and if you didn't already know this, I have cystic fibrosis and I also had a double lung transplant in 2010. A few people have been asking me transplant related questions because they are either contemplating going on the list themselves or they're just curious. So I have a bunch of questions here that I have been asked and I thought I would answer them here on the internet for everyone to see. How long did you wait on the list? I waited on the list for 7 months. I had a 2-month workup before that. A workup is what they call you having a bunch of tests to make sure that you can go through with having a transplant. What happened when you received the call? At the time I was in hospital, I was receiving antibiotics and I was not in a good place at all. So 11 p.m. that night I was in bed, so was my mum. A nurse came in and said there was a call at the nurse's station for me from St. Vincent's. I couldn't walk at the time, so my mum went out to see what it was. Mum walked back in, she whispered in my ear, "Lauren, it's Vinnie's and they've got some lungs for you." And I was completely overwhelmed by that one statement, yet at the same time, I was ready. I was so ready for it. As soon as I heard that, I just wanted to go straight to St. Vincent's and get it happening. But once again, you have to wait again. So I just laid in bed. The nurses helped pack all our stuff up because I had so much stuff. I never travel lightly. So I called an ambulance to the hospital, had some x-rays, got a drip in and signed some papers. When I signed the papers, it was April Fool's Day. I waited till 5:30 in the morning until I was wheeled off to surgery. A tip that was passed on to me, which I recommend to anyone who gets the call, and if the nurses say you have time, you definitely have time, wash your hair, because it will be a while until you get to wash your hair again. What was it like waking up with a breathing tube? The first memory I have waking up after the operation was someone asking me to squeeze their hand and push against their feet. After that, the breathing tube was taken out, and you know what? This part of the whole process is a complete blur because I was so doped up on so much painkillers, anesthetic, you know, lots of drugs. It was uncomfortable, but it wasn't unbearable. And when the breathing tube was taken out, I vomited with it. And then somebody asked me from the team if I could say hello, and I couldn't. The breathing tube nipped part of my vocal cords and I wasn't able to speak for quite some time after the operation, but through some vocal exercises afterwards, I eventually got my voice back. How long until you could eat? I am going to take a hunch and say 48 hours, although it might have been the 3rd day. The first solid meal I had was Wheat Bix for breakfast. How long until you could get out of bed or walk? I'm pretty sure I was in a recliner in ICU. You will be pushed post-transplant to sit up and get moving as soon as possible. You will have a lot of people helping you at first, and then they will dwindle off until it's just 1 or 2 people. By the time I walked out of the hospital 10 days after my transplant, I was able to walk a flight of stairs by myself. I was able to walk out of the hospital into the car by myself. Did you hallucinate on the drugs? Yes, I did have hallucinations. I had a little dragon boy come and visit me when I was in ICU. I was accompanied by panic attacks because I thought that I couldn't breathe. And I also laid in bed while my dad watched me eat chips, but it was just air. But to me, I was eating chips and just eating these for about an hour. How long did recovery take? I would say personally it took 12 months for me to get back into being comfortable with my own body and being able to find the good balance of how much work, how much rest, how much play. I personally had some setbacks. I had bowel obstruction, seizures, tachycardia. That was really just because I had CF problems mixed with transplant things. I had a good 6 weeks of in and out of hospital post-transplant. In saying that though, 2 months after transplant, I was going for my first job interview by traveling in the train by myself to the city. What does your scar look like? As far as I am aware, there are 3 types of scars for a double lung transplant. There is one that goes directly down, there is one that goes completely across, and then there are 2 little slits that can be made under the breast line. I have one that goes all the way across and it just looks like a really dodgy boob job. Alright, let's try again without showing my nipple. It goes across, up, and across to there. My drainage tubes, which are around here, Whew, well, that was exhausting. You're welcome. So this scar is 6 years old and as you can tell is quite faded. So that is some questions answered about transplant, my specific journey. If you have any more, please feel free to comment either below or on my page, Rejecting Lauren Rowe. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos like this. Remember, you're not alone and I'm sending my love. Mwah! My bra makes me look like a Mickey Mouse.